Hey guys, we just want to let you know that tickets for Blood and Honey 2 are on sale now. The link for that is down in the description, so go ahead and get your tickets.
Make sure you're getting your tickets now, guys, and we hope you enjoy the episode. Welcome back to Sledgehammer Horror, guys. I am Ken Sledge,
And I'm Ashley Sledge.
and let's talk horror. Now, today we are joined by the beautiful Nikki Wright. Nikki, how you doing today?
I'm really well, thank you. Yeah.
Oh, we're very excited to have you on. But before we talk about why you're here, Nikki, I would like for the people that don't know you to get to know you a little bit.
Okay.
You trained at Italia Conti and from there went to weekly repertoire theater. You were one of the founding members of Kenneth, I'm not going to say this right, Branagh. Is that right?
We say Branagh. Kenneth
Branagh? Okay.
Yeah, so when he set up his first theatre company, I was a part of that original group.
That's awesome. And the Renaissance Company, and you've worked extensively in theater, TV, film, and radio. So when you're doing the differences between film and theater, especially, what is the differences for you for getting into character and becoming who you are differently from theater to film?
I think as far as getting into character, it's probably similar. You still the biggest difference obviously with theatre is that you've got to have learnt the whole play. So learning the lines and being secure on the lines becomes like all you can think about during the rehearsal period. You just think, if I can remember the lines, I won't embarrass myself and I'll be fine, and the acting will take care of itself. And so you're very, I mean, you are reliant on your colleagues on film, but of course film can be edited, or it might be just on you, or you might not be in shot, you might be saying something but it will be a reverse and it will be on somebody else, whereas when you're on stage everybody can see everybody, so you can't have a moment of lapse of anything really. There's no second, there's no cut, all right, you can take it again.
Right.
That's what I was just going to say. You can't go, can I take that from the top, please?
Yeah, no, you can't do that.
I think that would make my anxiety a little more higher, like I got to get it right this first time.
Yeah.
But
It does.
I love that you've been in many horror films, and you're going to be in both Winnie-the-Pooh, Blood and Honey 2, and Bambi the Reckoning.
Yes.
So that's really awesome.
Yeah, and your credits are extensive. I mean, everything from TV, like you said, to film. And you can find her on almost every platform, whether it's HBO Max, House of Dragon, Paramount Plus with Sexy Beast, EastEnders on BBC, and then many, many different films. So, when we're talking about Winnie-the-Pooh, Blood and Honey 2, which is the reason that you're here today.
Yeah.
This is the first film took the world by storm.
Yeah.
It certainly did.
It came out of nowhere, very small budget, and just, it became a huge controversial film throughout the horror community. So we're very excited to see what you guys have in store for us with Blood and Honey 2.
Yeah. So do you want to tell us how you got involved with this project?
Well, as you said, I have done quite a lot of horror films, and many of those have been originally for Scott and then Scott and Reese. So I think we're going back probably 5 years, our working relationship and friendship now. So over that period of time, and especially during lockdown when theatre had closed down, but Scott was the film industry opened up a little bit here, not the big money stuff because they were so paranoid about COVID, but on smaller scale independent projects, we were allowed to film. So Scott just was like, well, let's crack on and make some films. So we actually made a lot during those sort of, I don't know, as I said, over the 5 years I've worked with him many times, but certainly during that middle section I feel we did a lot. And so I wasn't obviously in the first one, but I was very much aware of it because we're good friends, and I know a couple of the people that were in the first one. So yeah, it was just, when they made it, it was just another one. Nobody would have foreseen at that point that one was going to be any bigger than any of the others that they were making around that time. and yet it just went viral, and everybody was, we were all, or they were as surprised as anyone. And then when you sort of fast forward to this one, Scott and I have talked a lot over the years of a project, looking for a project where I would play his mum. And when he agreed to play Christopher Robin, then the logical thing was like, yay, finally.
And that's amazing. And that's, you know, we know that your characters, I don't want to get too much into your character.
Yeah.
We know your character's name is Daphne. But with this movie, because, and I mean this in no disrespect, it's goofy. You know, it's Winnie the Pooh as a serial killer.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a goofy concept from the beginning, which horror fans love.
Yeah.
We love goofy concepts. We love to be able to have fun with a horror movie. How do you know, be able to take yourself so seriously when you're making a film about a killer Winnie the Pooh?
Well, we don't take each other very seriously when we're behind set. We're still full of, you know, fun and giggles. But like any role, especially, I mean, actually for my part, most of my scenes were very much grounded in a realistic setting.
Okay.
A family, you know, the family scenes in which I'm involved in could be from any drama. It's just that when we do talk, in fact, I don't think I even mention Pooh. We refer to the incident.
Okay. Okay.
But I don't think I ever say the words Winnie the Pooh.
Right. Right. That's actually brilliant.
Yeah,
I like that.
That really is. So can you tell us a little bit about your character? Your character's name is Daphne. Is this like
Obviously non-spoiler. We
Yeah.
don't want to give anything away. But
No,
is
no.
there any traits about your character you can tell us?
Well, I mean, in real and historical terms, A.A. Milne, who obviously wrote Winnie the Pooh, his parents were called Alan and Daphne, and that's fact. So that's a historical fact. So when it came to giving them names, I said, it was like, well, why don't we just call them the names that Christopher Robin's characters were? And obviously we know that A.A. Milne, Alan, wrote the books for his son Christopher Robin. Now clearly we're not back in those days, but the fact that Christopher Robin genuinely had parents, then that's who we are. We are his parents.
okay?
But
And
in modern day, rather than back in the day when they actually lived.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes sense.
Well, I love the fact that you're tipping the cap.
Yeah.
You know, because the movie obviously wouldn't exist without them, and now you're really paying the biggest tribute you possibly can by naming these characters after the real life people. I think that's beautiful. That's a beautiful way to cement their legacy as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for those of you that have not seen it, we are now going to show you the Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2 trailer. So check this trailer out.
Hang on to your hats.
Let's begin. I'm going to take you back there. Feel all weight drift away. How are you feeling?
Good, I think.
Do you recall anything from the session? Focus. What is happening?
This was the day Billy was taken.
Them kids. They didn't stay buried. As if the earth itself was allowing this horror to rise up.
There's someone setting similarities to the 100-Acre Massacre.
It's not safe. There have been loads of murders leading to Ashdown.
Tell me everything you saw, please.
I knew that this day would come.
All of Ashdown will burn.
now, guys, you have an idea of what to expect with the upcoming Winnie-the-Pooh Blood and Honey 2.
Mm-hmm. So can you tell us about your experience on set? You said that, you kind of joke around backstage and everything. So can you tell us about the experience?
Well, I had probably a very different experience than a lot that were in bigger scenes with some of those characters. I don't want to give too much away. As I said, mine was very much family based. And because Scott and I are great friends, and also Reese, I was in a very, I can only say comfortable, happy place. I was working with people who I know. I also know the cameraman, Vince, very well. So it was just really joyful, really. Yeah.
Good. No, that's awesome.
Right. And especially because the budget now is a lot bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We know when they filmed the first one, they had a smaller budget. The viral thing happened. They were able to raise more money, and they were able to go back in and do some reshoots with some bigger things. Now, with this one, the budget was bigger right off the bat because of how the impact the first one had.
Mm-hmm.
So with a bigger budget, is there, again, non-spoiler, what are some of the expectations that we can have for this film?
I think the biggest difference will be the level of how much higher budget the prosthetics and the creatures will look. I think that's what will be the most exciting thing for people who love those characters. They are, well, you can see from the trailer, I think. So the prosthetic company, who are called the Prosthetic Studio, are incredible. They do very big budget stuff, and they did an amazing job. And then on top of that, you've got bigger scenes. So I think you get a little glimpse of the rave scene in the trailer. So to shoot a scene as big as that with as many supporting artists, etc., you could never do that on the size of budget that was there before. You've got to keep things much smaller. So yeah, you'll see much bigger location with more people, and the amount of kills are even more imaginative. I mean, you can see that chainsaw, the flaming chainsaw at the end. So yeah.
So, I mean, we know that you were not a part of the original film. We know that you were close to it. It was a love letter. But, this one is, like you said, it's going to be bigger.
Yeah.
It's going to be badder. But is there any other ways that this is going to be different than Winnie-the-Pooh, Blood and Honey?
Well, it's a tricky one for me to say, because I have to hold my hands up and say I haven't actually seen the first one.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, because it didn't play in many cinemas here. It had a very small release. And when any of us are involved in a film, we're very kindly sent a screener of it, so we get to see it. Well, I wasn't in that one, so I've never been sent a screener. So yes, I haven't actually watched it. I can only assume from what I know of what the differences are on this one.
So have you gotten the chance to see Blood and Honey 2 yet with the screener?
I'm not saying.
Okay.
I've seen, well, I can say I've seen a version. It's not, it was, I mean, yeah, it still wasn't, this was a good few months ago. So it will be even more polished by now. It's still, I think it was only just finished yesterday or today. Literally finished with sound design and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
And we know that Winnie-the-Pooh, Blood and Honey 2 is coming up, and that's what we wanted to do this about. But we also wanted to ask you a little bit.
Yeah. So what are our expectations for Bambi the Reckoning? Like, I'm really excited about this one.
I think probably the biggest difference with Bambi is that it's probably steeped a little bit more in realism.
Okay.
Yeah, I think obviously with Pooh, you've got several now: Pooh, Owl, Piglet, Tigger, and they are, as you can see from the trailer, and if you've seen the first one, there's something human / creature about them. Whereas with Bambi, it is a deer. We're not pretending that it was a anything else other than it's a deer. And so there was no person playing Bambi.
Okay.
It's all VFX, or it will be when it's done. And so the acting was only ever with actors.
Okay.
Yeah. And again, polar differences when you're
sure.
doing that. When you're trying to be scared of a tennis ball
of a nothing
chasing
yeah.
you.
Yeah, a tennis ball on a stick with a green screen. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a lot harder to be scared of that than it is a big guy coming at you in a Tigger or Pooh costume. So very excited about that as well. And the best way for you guys to stay up to date, not only on Nikki, but on the film itself, is by following her on social media. I have her social media links down in the description. So make sure you're becoming a part of her family as well. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. It really helps to build our channel more than you know. And follow Sledgehammer Horror on social media. Our links are down in the description as well. Nikki, please don't go anywhere. We have a couple more questions for you. Everyone else, as always, keep talking horror.
Stay who you are.
And we'll see you guys soon.
Bye, guys.